But if I would have had that attitude, I wouldn't have had like the amazing experiences that I did. Like I played some packed shows in front of like so many people that I've never seen in my life, and that's like the point, you know. So I feel like it's good to mix it up. Like, you know, I don't know. Obviously, like it's good to have a theme and bands, and you know they all flow together nicely. I'm with that too, but I feel like when you have like a festival where it's like ska wars, for example, you have like these skacore bands that are like screaming and are super fast, but then you got like traditional ska and those kids are like, what's this? And then you never know, like you want to attract the young people too and like open their eyes to what you're doing as well and like show them like the roots, you know. So that's how I see it.
Hell yeah. I was gonna ask you, how long have you been doing this like just you by yourself? Have you
since 2013?
So you started exactly when they started like putting.
Honestly, they literally had that meeting with me and they told me we have some tracks and they told me who was playing on them and I was like already sold. I was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. And they showed me the tracks. I got to listen. I was very lucky. I got to listen to the tracks and I was like, oh man, I can totally do something with that, and that. So I just chose what I thought I could work with. I wrote to it. I met up with the band. We had a rehearsal. I brought my freaking notebook because I still haven't like memorized the lyrics because they were like new. And I just started singing the songs. And it's funny because my bass player now, Jeff, he plays with me now again, which is dope because like he started with me. And he even says like, dude, I tripped out. Like you walked in there and you were just like, all right, let's do this. And I had my lyrics, but I felt like, what else was I supposed to do? You know, like I didn't know the words. So I'm like, all right, I got them right here. We can make this happen now. And just because they wanted to do like the EP, they told me they wanted to do like a showcase. So everything was like in a span of like, I think like 2 months or something, where I was like, holy shit, I need to write songs and I need to perform that like right away. But it happened at the right time. I had like so much to write about and I went for it, you know, and it was something I never done before. Like, oh, I have to write. I mean, I've written songs, but not to tracks, not to like other people playing them. It was always me like starting from scratch, you know. But I kind of like went back to my old ways with my new songs. I started writing my own songs, and now the songs I have now were like started from me and then I showed the band. So I do it both ways, I guess. But yeah, it was all quick. Like, okay, you're signed, and I looked over the contract. Okay, we want you to record these songs, record them. All right, so we're gonna do this show now. I was like, holy crap. But it kind of made me feel like proud, like, hey, I was able to pull this off. Like I could do this, you know. So
and all those songs that the tracks they were showing you in the beginning, that was the introducing Jackie Mendez album?
So there was a Hard to Handle, Thought You Should Know, I Can't Stay, and what I'm like trying to remember what other songs I have on there. So those songs were all, I wrote them all. Like I heard the track and I was like, all right, I know what I'm gonna do. And then those were the ones that I performed live, and I had to memorize the songs to perform them live. Oh my god, I remember I was like but it was so dope. Like I had so much support that night and like everybody was like really excited, and yeah, I pulled it off.
And when you dropped that in 2013, was it around the same time that you appeared on the Gamblers Mark song, or was that like
you know, that was a little bit before. Was it before or after? I think that was a little bit before. Like literally was right before like all the other Angel City stuff. Like I was already signed, but I hadn't completed the EP. That's what I want to say. And you know, for me, I was like, man, like I'm not even, you know, I don't know what I want to do. I don't have a band anymore. I felt so like just at a crossroads where I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go and start another band again? And I just felt like I didn't have the energy to like find people and do it all over again, because I put so much time into this other, it's like, you know, kind of like when you get out of a long relationship, you're like, I don't want to do all that right now. It was the same for me, you know. Like I want to do it, but it's a lot of work and I don't know if I'm ready to take on all that right now. And then I started thinking like, hey, maybe I could just like hit up some friends and like I could just make my own stuff. And it's so crazy that I thought that, because literally after that, that's when I got hit up by Angel City. But the whole thing with Gamblers Mark was right before, and that was another thing. Like Dave was always telling me, the lead singer of Gamblers, like, dude, I hear you on the song, we need to do it, we need to do something, like for a while. And then I didn't really like hear about it anymore. And then when they were gonna record, he was like, hey, like I want you to come to the studio and do that song. And I'm like, holy crap, like what? And he's like, yeah, come down tomorrow, like just write your part. And I was like, okay. And you know, I'm kind of like, you could do it, just do it, like just go for it. I feel like you had to put yourself through that, like, you know, like just push yourself to like be uncomfortable a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So he was like, dude, you got this, like let's do it. We were literally on the way to the studio and I was just listening to the song over and over and over, and then he was recording other things he had to record still, and I was just in the van like writing the lyrics, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. And then I went in there and I recorded it, and they helped me with some stuff like, hey, what should I do here, obviously, but
Yeah.
for the most part it was just like done like that. So I felt like during that time like everything just kind of got thrown at me, and it's like, here you go, like you want this, right? So are you gonna do it? Okay, shit, all right, I guess I'm gonna do it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I see. Even like just you saying that, like you couldn't even tell that you wrote the songs like on the way there, because I don't know, just it almost seemed like you guys were going back and forth, like you guys had like planned out how to go about it and all this.
Yeah, like I feel like Dave was like kind of the mastermind when it came to that. Like he was like, this is what I see. So I kind of just had to come in and like write stuff that made sense and went with what he was saying. And it just turned out really good. Everybody was like, oh my God, I love that song.
Yeah.
And then they had like a poll on Facebook, like, hey, what song should we make a video for? I remember they asked like their fans, like, what song should we make a video for? Everybody said Annoying Bitch. And I'm like, what? It was so cool. I didn't expect that. So it was a lot of fun. I love those guys. They're like, they've always been supportive of me. Even when I was in the Boss Beats, they would always invite us. They invited us to play the House of Blues, and I never even played the House of Blues. So that was like so big for us. So honestly, like I thank them too. Like they've like put me on some dope like experiences as well. Like they've always been supportive and they still are. So gamblers.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was gonna ask if they were also on Angel City, but you just answered that. I was gonna ask if that was like an Angel City like little thing, or if like
No, they just
you got that.
yeah. And that's a cool thing about the label is that like I could do things like that. Like, you know what I mean? There's always different like contracts and stuff, but yeah, as long as I stay where I'm from, it's all good.
Yeah. So the album came out in 2013, but I'm seeing that in 2016 you released I Can't Stay, and was it Hard to Handle, like as singles?
Actually that was Forever True, and then I did we added some live tracks in there too. And then I did Why Did You Lie by Dom Penn. So we added that one in there too. And that's another like remake that I did. We try to get a lot of like the rarer tracks to like recreate, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Put them out there.
Uh-huh.
So it's pretty cool. Like people are all like people that probably never heard the song or whatever. So I did that for that one. But that one was like the next single, Forever True.
Yeah, because I saw that because what I was looking at was I was on Apple Music, and it's there's 3 singles on there. There's Forever True, Can't Stay, Hard to Handle, and then your song with Gamblers Mark. And then
yeah, so the thing with that, I think I want to say because of like copyrights and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to ask, was it
so that's why I only have those songs on there right now. But I definitely want to change that. I want to record possibly like another EP or a full length, because I do have a lot of new songs that are on my set list that haven't been recorded. So that's kind of like the next step I'm hoping for, is that it's been like long overdue. So I just got really caught up with like finding myself, I want to say, like as an artist, you know. It's like you write something, you do it, and then you're like touring. Like this was all new to me. So I mean, I got so caught up in the live shows and the touring and doing all that, and I feel like time just flies so quick, and like you're just doing all these things. So I think everything happens, you know, when it's meant to happen. So yeah, that's like hopefully the next thing that I record all the other songs I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you don't have like a deadline sitting on you, right? Or like not working within a time limit or nothing.
I should, but
because
but you know, it's kind of hard, you know, also to like force music out of yourself or songs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not at that. I don't know. Like, I guess I could say I'm at that level where I could possibly do that if I had to, but I'm so just, I want it to be as organic as possible when I write my songs. Like, I don't want to feel like, oh, write a song like this because, you know, people like it. And, you know, I get it. Like, obviously that's always the intention. You want people to enjoy it, but as an artist, it's like your art, you know. And I just feel like I want to write songs that I like, you know, that I want to write, not what people want from me, you know.
Of course.
So when you're like forced, like, hey, we got to do this, from what I hear from, like, you know, people that are way bigger and have art in the mainstream, like, it's like they're like handed all these contracts, like, okay, you have to do like this many albums, like, hurry up. Like, that just sounds like such a machine to me. Like, I'm not a machine. I'm not a machine. Like, I'm not like this person that is like a robot that could just write all these songs. Like, that's not how I work, and call me crazy, but I just feel like I want to enjoy the process, and I want to like be real about it and give people real music. I just think that's something we need, like, especially these days, you know. Like, so much stuff is just created to like attract people or certain things, and I just feel like you need more rawness, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, when mainstream labels usually sign people, it's like they're looking at like, okay, how can we exploit this person, you know? And then, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, at the end of the day, artists are, you know, products. You feel me? So, well, to them, you know. So, I think when somebody signs a contract and doesn't have a lawyer look over it, and then they're stuck with like a 10 album deal, that's when you hear like, you know, artists sometimes put out just shitty music because they need to get that shit out.
Yeah, and it sucks because you're like, hey, you're like better than this. Like, what is this? You know, but you don't want to judge. I think when you are in not the same shoes, but you know how it is to like have to write and have to do like all these things, and you've been in that position. But I haven't even been in a position where I felt like, so I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's tough. So I can imagine for these artists, they get burnt out. It's like, oh, do this, do that, do, and they're doing it because they got to make a living and they got to stay relevant. But I don't know. I just feel like you have to kind of give yourself that break too, to like grow and be able to know what your next step is. That's how I am, at least. That's how I like to work. I know it's not always going to be that ideal setting that you want, but I read so many books on bands that I love, and like the experiences that they've had with the music industry, and it sucks. It's like, I don't want to go through that, you know. I want to try to like stay away from people like that. I don't want to get caught up in that kind of, I want to work with people that truly support me and that love what I do, not see me as like, oh, like, let's make money, and like, cares how your songs sound as long as they're selling, you know. Like, I'm just, I don't know, that whole idea just like is weird to me. I guess I'm like old school like that. I don't know.
No, I mean, you know, I think at some point you start to see, you know, especially as a musician, like, oh, okay, fuck, like, am I going to get stuck recording bullshit for the rest of my duration, or am I going to act my age? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I feel like when people start making music that is, well, if you're a musician, right, and you're releasing music that's clearly not you, it's just not gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
you know, there's like a lot of artists that always change, like they're not the same, like, and that's really admirable too, that they could like grow and have like this totally new, like a new like look on things and image, but they pull it off. And it's not because they're like trying to get attention, it's because that's who they really are, and they're growing. Like, you know, like for example, like David Bowie, like he's had so many like different looks, and it's always good because he's being him. And that's what I mean, is that I feel like that's so important.
Do you listen to a band called Ceremony? They're a punk band from up north.
I don't think I've listened to them before.
No? If you check out Ceremony, all their shit, like all their albums, it's literally like a different style of punk. Like every album, like their first two albums are like power violence, and then the third album's like 80s hardcore. The album after that, it sounds like the Clash. The album after that, it sounds like it's the Interpol.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then their latest album sounds like 70s. How do I say it? It sounds like, you ever heard that song Nausea by X? You heard Nausea?
Cool. Right? That's like one of my favorite bands.
Yeah. So it was it's kind of like that style.
Nice.
Like, how do I explain this? Mixed with like Joy Division. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would definitely check out Ceremony. Their albums are really nice to listen to, and they're not compromising their shit on any album. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, you kind of just have to be honest with yourself. I think that's important, because to me, like, if you're just doing what people tell you all the time, like, you're eventually gonna just get stuck and like not feel happy and like have resentment, and like at least that's how I see it. I feel like that's how I would be if I was in that position.
Mhm.
So I always try to like be honest with myself. Like when I'm writing a song, it's like I like this song, so I'm gonna like put it out there. But if I don't feel like I like it 100%, nobody's gonna hear it. Like that's just how I am.
Yeah, I feel it. Hey, that's pretty respectable. I mean, people will always say, "Oh, we need artists to put out stuff all the time because this is a content game." But then artists on the other side, it's like, all right, well, do you want me to give you something that's half-assed, or do you want me to take my time? Like,
Exactly.